RCT, so I don't have anything.
Just to get his attention.
Yeah, well, Eric, before Jesus comes up. We're live, okay.
She just wanted.
Come on up.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am Guy. I'm a member of the FirstU Board of Directors, and we'll start with some quick announcements. We are looking for persons interested in serving on the board of the new organization being created with Thea Partners to manage the 16-story building that is part of our campus redevelopment project. It'll be over there somewhere. Information was sent out a couple of weeks ago to all congregational members in an email blast and is also available on the members page of the FirstU website. If you would like to discuss this, please contact Chuck Shields at president@firstunitarian.ca, and Chuck is here today. I saw him, there he is with his hand in the back. And can you spare 2 hours once a month on Sundays after church to support our new FirstU grocery support program? The FirstU food cupboard needs volunteers to help visitors access the food cupboard and to organize the shelves. For information, please contact Lisa Sharp at lisasharp, all one word, @rogers.com.
Good morning. We're going to start with a singing prelude. So the words will be behind me on the screen. We'll be singing Sawabona again. So just a reminder of the words. They are Sawabona, Sikona, Ubuntu. So only 3 words. That's all you have to know to sing this one. There we go. Today, why don't we start... Are they there? Yes, they're there. I'm going to set up a little beat ahead of time. If you're not into singing, you can feel free to clap along with me. So... Sawabona, 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 Sikona. Sawabona, Sawabona, Sikona, Ubuntu. Sawabona, 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 Sikona. Sawabona, Sawabona, Sikona, Ubuntu. Sawabona, 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 Sikona. Sawabona, Sawabona, Sikona, Ubuntu.
Thank you, Jen, and everyone here. Wonderful to start with a song. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome, everyone, to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. Whether you're here in Worship Hall or watching from wherever you may be, you are welcome. I'm Kate Kirkwood, your worship associate for this service, and I'm pleased to welcome Kayoki.
Koe kakana, Kayoki Whiteduck, Nindijnikas. Hello, everyone. My name is Kayoki Whiteduck. I am the lead climate and food educator at the Ajashki Project, and I will be speaking here today.
Thanks, Kayoki. We acknowledge that our FirstU campus is located on traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, and that the work of reconciliation is a responsibility of our congregation and of all Canadians. Our goal is to educate ourselves and all those that have the willingness to understand, to be of service to those who are at risk, and to advocate for justice. Let's join our voices in song once more. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing together. For the earth forever turning, number 163 in the gray hymnal, and the lyrics will be on the screen above. We light our chalice this morning to the words "Faith in Summer" by Ellen Hamilton. In faith together, we light this small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather's Son's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly. In these days of deep summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, delighting and nourishing all beings. We bask in the warmth and the heat of these days with lightened hearts and quickened senses, in gratitude and in faith. Our chalice is lit. Come, let us worship together as we begin by singing our chalice song.
at least the youth who are into painting, and she actually guided the youth on how to paint all the murals. Then later on, it was suggested to us that we should have art representation with our program for not just First Nations, but also Métis and Inuit. So going forward, right now, we actually have an Inuit artist who is designing another set of murals for us. I believe this is going on the front of the building on the south side, or what's that, south side? That side of the building. The murals that we have now already, we just put them out in the summer. We'll put them out in the spring, take them in the fall because they won't overwinter outside. There has been talks between some other people about putting them somewhere up in the church building, but that's still kind of to be decided. Perfect. We're good to go? All right, well, thank you very much for your patience, everybody. Hello everybody. I'm honored to be here to deliver this sermon that I titled, The Little Choices That Make a Big Difference. I will be talking about agriculture, horticulture, and the environment, as this is what I know, and these things relate to the seventh Unitarian principle, the interconnected web of life. In this day and age, I sometimes get a hopeless feeling when I try to do my part for the earth by cleaning up shorelines, just to see on the news another pipeline exploded, releasing a bunch of oil into a nearby river. Or when I try to reduce my carbon footprint just to watch billionaires who have private jets and some who even have private spaceships taking joyrides around the world. But when I stop and think about it, I realize all the choices that I end up making make a huge difference. I would like to start with one of my actions that I've taken a lot of pride in, and that is my rule of leaving a place better than you found it. As someone who spends a lot of time in the bush, I've always hated seeing garbage in the middle of the forest and in rivers or along the shoreline. Since I started to live by this rule of leaving a place better than when I found it, every time I take a trip into the bush, I leave it cleaner than when I went in. Or every time I paddle down a river, I pull stuff out of the river to make sure it's cleaner than when I went down it. I've picked up many things out of the river, from cigarette butts and things as big as propane tanks. Now, why does this all make a big difference? Well, aside from all the garbage I've personally removed from rivers, my rule has also gained popularity with the people around me. The people I go camping with have not only embraced this ideology, but also spread it to the people they know as well. When many people focus on leaving the world a better place, well, the quicker it gets better and the more beautiful it becomes. This rule is not only for cleaning up garbage in the wilderness, but can be applied to everyday life, like making your home, street, or workplace a better place. As many of you may know, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I run the Ajashki program. And though it isn't always easy, at the end of the day, I try to leave the youth better when they came in, making sure they learn something or have at least a positive experience at Ajashki. The Ajashki program largely focuses on food security and the sustainability of agriculture and our food systems. What we eat and where our food is sourced from has a profound effect on the health of our planet. Sourcing food from more local and sustainable options is key into reducing our food's impact on our planet. A controversial topic on this subject that I often have to talk about is the organic versus conventionally grown food. Some people don't believe there is a difference between the two, while some people view this as a black and white issue. In my opinion, it is more of a spectrum. And this is because just because something was conventionally grown doesn't mean it was sprayed with harsh chemicals. And just because something is organic or even vegan doesn't mean it came from the other side of the earth, creating a big carbon footprint, or even coming from a place where they're deforesting to grow this kind of things, such as palm oil in Southeast Asia, where they're actually tearing down the rainforest to grow this. Now, I love having tropical fruit and fresh fruits and veggies in the winter as much as the next person. But the more we can source our food locally, the more positive an impact we can have on our earth. Food is a small choice that we make every day that can make a huge difference to the ecosystems of our planet. I am by no means perfect when it comes to choosing sustainable food choices, but I do the best to do my part. Quite often, the most sustainable food options can be the most expensive. And with food already so expensive these days, it can be hard for people to make the sustainable choice. Another field I have worked in and studied in is horticulture. And the way in which we manage the space outside of our homes can be super beneficial in supporting ecosystems, or it could have a huge negative impact on them. I'm sure many of you have heard of things like no mow May, which is basically not mowing your lawn for the month of May to protect habitat and create habitat for insects. And other things like leaving the leaves on the ground over the winter and planting native species in your garden, both, again, to protect habitat for insects. These are all great initiatives if you want to do good for our little friends who help make our world the magical place that it is. These small choices make the world of a difference for things like bees, butterflies, fireflies, and moths. Even pill bugs and centipedes have their place. The horticultural industry has never really cared much about the ecosystems. It has always been about conquer and control. In recent years, people have started to challenge the status quo of landscaping and the horticultural industry. Before, it was almost compulsory to have well-managed turf grass lawns in front of your house, which does nothing for biodiversity except decrease it. Nowadays, many people have alternatives to turf grass lawns, and to deviate from the social norm is of great benefit to the environment. Turf grass is the most irrigated crop in North America, and in many people's opinions, including mine, a waste of water. Not always, but it does, obviously that is a lot of water we're using on just growing lawns. When it comes to little choices that make big differences, I think the choice that has the biggest impact is a choice not to waste. Not to waste food, not to waste water, and not to waste energy. As a young Anishinaabe, I was always taught never to waste, but it's something more easily said than done. However, I was greatly humbled this year when I had an issue with my well system at my farm. And I had to drive to the Wakefield Spring about every second day and fill up a bunch of jugs of water just to be able to run the water at my house. I did this for 8 months. Needless to say, me and my partner have become incredibly good at not wasting any water. Here in Canada, where fresh water is clean, where fresh and clean water is plentiful in most areas, unlike a lot of First Nations reserves, it is easy to take it for granted. Water is life and it should always be treated with respect. Food waste is another huge issue that has a serious impact on climate change and the environment. Over half the food produced in Canada is wasted. This leads to more greenhouse gas emissions, more waste in landfills, and more wasted resources from our precious earth. About half of this food waste is produced at the household level, meaning each individual or household has the power to reduce this food waste with the choices that we make. Some things that can be done to reduce food waste includes planning shopping better to avoid overbuying, donating extra food when possible, and storing food properly. When food has already gone bad, composting, which everybody at Ajashki knows I am super huge on, is the next best tool we have to limit the environmental impacts of our food waste. The last choice that I'm going to talk about is voting. Now, we all know that when you vote in elections, every vote counts, but the type of voting that I'm talking about is the voting you do with your money. Every time you purchase something, you're supporting the business, the system, or the practices behind whatever it is you're buying. As a small business owner myself, I know what it means to me when somebody chooses to get their tea from me rather than a large corporation. The money stays in the local economy and helps business owners to grow their business instead of helping a millionaire or billionaire buy another mansion or yacht. Buying from companies who care about sustainability or the environment or animals shows that you vote for these ideologies. Buying from a corporation such as, and I'm going to use an example here, as Nestle, says you support their ideologies, and with Nestle specifically, it means you don't believe in water being a human right, which is something that the CEO of Nestle, has publicly said. Voting with your consumer dollar will shape and change a company's policies and practices. So Always consider what you're supporting when buying goods or services. All the everyday choices we make have a huge impact when we think about what's best. When everyone collectively makes small changes, it makes a world of difference. Please consider how even the smallest of choices will impact the future of the earth. Now I'm going to finish with a quote from my mother, Francine Whiteduck. Our people tell stories of individuals, of grandfathers and grandmothers, the trial and tribulations, the things they did, and what happened to them in the flow of life. And these stories become the collective teachings of the people. They eventually become the memories, the legends, the resilience stories of a people. And within these stories, our people find heroes, solutions, lessons, and over time, these stories come to capture and remain in the collective conscience of the people. These are the stories that become the teachings about leading a good life, the reflections that help us come to terms with the good and bad things that may come our way in the flow of life, the lessons of courage, acceptance, and love. The Anishinaabe call this the spirits of our ancestors. This is our culture and is the way of all cultures throughout history remember their morality and keep customs and traditions alive. These are the timeless stories, and they begin with us. Miigwech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kayoki. First of all, for the wonderful informal introduction to Ajashki and everything you're doing, and for all these, all the food for thought and thoughts about our food to keep us thinking about our planet, how we preserve it, how we make it better. Thank you. And now Jen will introduce an anthem to be sung by the summer choir.
Today is the first day of summer choir, so if you're interested in joining, every Sunday in July, we're going to be meeting before the service to prepare something to sing for you. So first I will plug that we would love to see you out, even if you're not normally involved in one of our other choirs. This is a great way to get started. Today we are singing a Hawaiian piece. It's an earth blessing in the style of a hula. And it translates to, yes, we must do what is right and take care of the earth.
Thank you very, very much. And now I will ask our ushers to start passing the baskets at this time to gather the offering. This congregation has a long history of care, vitality, and bringing people together to move the arc of justice forward. We've been able to live into our hopes and dreams because of the generosity of those within and beyond this community. Whether you're here in Worship Hall or anywhere else, you're part of this community. We rely on one another to keep this congregation vital and resilient. If you have any questions about how you can give, please go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how to make a donation or keep up with your pledge. Our gifts are freely given and gratefully received. We dedicate these gifts to the work of this community of faith, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another. And now please rise as you're willing and able. The summer choir will come forward. We join together in our closing hymn, Mother Earth, Beloved Garden, number 1067 in the Teal hymnal. And we'll be singing just the first 4 verses of this. Before we begin to close this time of worship and reflection, a reminder that coffee hour will begin in Fellowship Hall immediately after the service. If you're new here or feel new or would simply welcome conversation today, please pick up a green mug as you enter Fellowship Hall. Doing so will help others looking forward to good conversation to find you. And as Kayoki mentioned, after a brief hiatus, we do have leafy greens available in the grow towers once again. We're most grateful to Ajashki and all the work that they're doing in training of future food warriors to improve our earth. We extinguish our chalice this morning to words by Eric Williams, 4-element blessing. May the firmness of the earth be yours. May the flow of the water be yours. May the freedom of the air be yours. May the fierceness of the fire be yours. May all the gifts of this life, the below and the above, be with you and remain with you always. The chalice is extinguished, and now ask Jen to lead us in spirit of life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Source de vie, jaillis en moi, insufflant mon cœur, des élans de compassion, chante dans le vent, danse avec la mer, anime la main qui façonne la justice. Te nourris-moi, seulement toi, source de vie. Éveille-moi, éveille-moi. As our benediction, let us recall the Kayoki's words and the words of our anthem. Our everyday choices make a difference. We must do what is right and take care of the earth as we go forward in coming days. To hold out your hands here and to think of the words of Elaine Gallagher German. Walk softly, speak truthfully, love gently, breathe deeply, live wisely, go in peace.